I wanted to mention that we mentioned that Octarine core, and the fact that Co-op has no hex. So when they were pushing, they didn't show Co-op or Clockwork. Both of them were missing, but AM kept on split pushing bottom and went into the base. He would never do that if Co-op had a hex, because then they could chain stun him. But he knows that as long as the Klings is visible, nothing can chain stun him until Klings TPs back and kills him. He's going to be fine by that time. So he can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants on the map.
Sorry, we'll come back to it. It's an interesting piece because for a new player, what you're usually trying to do is learn, the heroes and learn some of the items and what have you. And your focus is so much on that you forget what the other players are playing. So we know Dota is a game of counter. So if you don't remember that when you're a new player, it's very tough. But as you become a bit better and you start noticing these things, it can actually win you games. And it's a great example of the fact that, if you haven't tuned in already, make sure you tuned into the noob stream, the newcomer stream today, because that is fantastic at explaining exactly these kind of things. And it's those little moments, isn't it, where you suddenly go, hang on a minute. They haven't got something that I know will stop me from doing. Oh, I can do this now. It's like the light bulb moment.
Exactly, and those players are not even. It's not even that they're good. They're perfect at, taking advantage of those situations.
Yeah, I
he knows exactly.
I think a very good example would be if you are playing a hero like Lifestealer or Juggernaut, you have innate survivability, ability to actually help you survive. And the opponent doesn't have anything that goes through your TP with your spell immunity, you will be able to take the hero to a very huge limit. So you have to use the hero to the limits if you actually understand and remember.
And the guys down here, and you guys as well, I include you in this, it's like a second nature. You don't even think about it. It's one of those things that's just part of what happens, which is fantastic. But, when I'm playing, for instance, I'm still concentrating on what I'm supposed to be doing, let alone what the other guys are doing, right? And when you get better at it, even then, you really aren't thinking too much about the other side. So, really impressive. We do have a quick replay, actually, of the last team fight. So, it'd be quite good to look at that and sort of talk through as to how it all broke out. I know, Winter, you were just sort of going, well, why didn't they use the BKB? And I think we can see that in the replay.
And Fear, so much work on the bot lane.
Yeah, so now
this was like past the fight already.
This was a super informed fight and really well executed by EG. So you want to pop the Clinks. You want to get his Aegis because he's not actually that great of an Aegis carrier because of Death Pact. So they popped him with the Aegis with Winter's Curse and then Laguna, and then he dropped.
Okay, we're gonna drop in now. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're just got a little ahead of ourselves.
The really key moment is after the sleep, and if you watch Fnatic, they went all out on combo, and then the opponents pop their BKB, but they actually wait for the BKB pop. So
and I.M at this point is already knows exactly what he's going to do.
So at this point, they're just trying to kill the creeps, and then once the golems die, they'll pop the glyph. Chen actually has his heal up. Debatable whether or not he could have healed to.
This is also where Anti-Mage is already pushing.
Yes.
So now they try to just send home and TP back and stop the Anti-Mage. That's where it all goes wrong after this.
Yeah, you're gonna see here Anti-Mage is split pushing and they are frantically trying to send the Klings back after the song.
The sleep is very smart as well because he's preventing them from porting. That's probably what he wants to do.
Yeah, and he didn't pop his BKB and the use cancelled the sandbag. That was what happened.
But now the BKB doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, he's just good after this.
Yep. And look at Anti-Mage's life, and that's without a Hex. With a Hex, he's dead.
I honestly feel that Octarine this early on doesn't bring you anything really for the value. Apart from a big mana pool,
being tanky.
Like your health pool is really good, but it doesn't really... It's a very expensive item. And on Queen, when you already reduced the ulti cooldown so much with Aghanims, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's just a straight-up, actually bad purchase.
For this situation, I think they didn't fully understood the problem of the Anti-Mage. If he had a Hex, this wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, we can make it right round to the point we made earlier on, so that's really cool. In the way that the game has now unfolded a little bit more in the last couple of minutes, do we feel maybe this is a watershed moment in this match and that actually EG might now just go on to take this?
Yes, because now they have Roshan control, and Klinks isn't strong enough to take it by his lonesome. And he died, they lose a few seconds of map control, they lost the bottom T3 tower. Now, if that happens one more time, they lose a lane of Rax, and that was their moment. That was when they needed to break the high ground. And you talked about some of the disadvantages of Sand King in the early game, but in this particular moment, he was really useful because of the instant stun. After the sleep, they waited for it. It's is he going to pop his BKB? If he's not, then we're going to kill him again. And if he does, we're going to net him or isolate him or whatever they want to do. And you don't have that luxury if you don't have the instant stun.
Yeah, and running a Chen lineup is sort of similar to running a DK lineup. Like we saw Empire play, for example. You have to execute it very well, and if your first push at high ground fails and you die, and you get split pushed and lost to tier 3, that's going to hurt your momentum a lot.
Yeah, as a Dota player, you understand. You remember how many games you lost that way. It's never good.
Okay, complexity though. What are they going to change or do differently? Do you think after the pause to make sure that this doesn't go snowballing the other way?
Get a Hex ASAP. Either on Clinks, probably on Clinks because Queen already committed.
I think it needs damage though. Like if they go Hex on Clinks and Octarine on Queen, they don't have anyone damage. Like,
they both have like 600 gold right now, so both would take probably around the same time to actually try and build the Hex. And like you mentioned, they're lacking damage as well. So I think at this point, if you talk about getting the Hex on the Clinks, it might also be a huge problem that you Hex, but you don't have enough damage to actually kill the target.
Well, their options are what? Secure map control, which they can't really because no Hex. They can't really push high ground. They just failed. And the next is control the Roshan, but they're fighting against Sand King and Naga. So, I mean, all their options are not looking good.
I think they have too much to do right now because they haven't been doing enough the past 10 minutes. There were a lot of stuff that should have happened 10 minutes ago for them, but because they didn't address it and it all like stacks up right now, they have too much to do in too little time.
This is a perfect example of 3 minutes ago. They were doing all right. They could still win this game. 3 minutes later, suddenly one thing changes, and actually, you basically are all saying they should GG out now because there's almost nothing.
I mean,
they can
it's literally how bad it is. Like they're running an all-in type of push lineup, and if this happens, it's just so demoralizing and hard to come back from if you have this lineup.
It's also a fact that they died top after going for a BKB build on Clinks. When we saw Fear play Clinks, he would go for the full damage build early on, go Daedalus into MKB, into maybe BKB or Butterfly. So that's going to farm a lot faster and push a lot faster. Now, if you lose the team fights, which is what you built the BKB for, you're in a spot where it's really hard to recover.
But we need to keep in mind that Complexity they never took the fight. That wasn't a fight. It was just EG catching them off guard. So I think, if I were to captain that game, I think the best approach for Complexity is to try it again. They need to try to end the game because if now it's bad, it's going to get even worse. They're not going to be able to do better.
I think
than
they probably
this is the best they can get.
Don't have the luxury to wait for even the Hex.
They need to go again and force EG to make a mistake. Now, it was Complexity doing a mistake. EG is not. They're not like gods. They can also fail once, and if it happens, they're going to take the game because they have a Chen and a Clinks with Destillators. They can take 2 racks in 30 seconds or in a minute. So they need to go there, force the issue again, and make sure that they play as a team. Here it was a 3 versus 5 and 2 guys trying to kill an enemy mage. 3 versus 4 story.
They can't push again though. They have to get all the Chen creeps. They have to push bottom lane out. They have to deal with AM split push. There's too many issues. I think
they have a lot of issues for sure right now. They have a lot of issues that they need to address.
Okay, cool. Unfortunately, I am getting news that the reason we're offline right now is due to a DDoS attack, which is a real shame. I do wish these people would find something better to do with their lives, but that's where we are right now. We are going to catch up with Casey, though, who's with some fans once more. Casey.
You're representing them. Yep. I have come into contact with Faceless Rex, and there is Monday Night Football theme music coming in. Let's see if we can hear. I have been informed that Faceless Rex can't talk. So why don't you show me who you're rooting for today? Evil geniuses? Evil geniuses. Can you show us your Faceless Rex dance? I guess I should shake your hand. Very nice to meet you. And go dinosaur.
Are we off the camera?
Yeah, we're off camera now. You can talk. You liar!
Casey is just can't be trusted out there. Don't ever take your suits off when you're around Casey, because otherwise you're definitely going to be on camera. A lot of fun, a lot of colour actually at the international. Obviously, my first time here, didn't really know what to expect. Was really just focused on the Dota and the teams and the players. But actually, it's more about the fans as well and the colourful cosplay that they're wearing. It's the flags that we've seen draped all over their bodies today as well, and real coming out and supporting all of the players. And it never ceased to amaze me how they stop everyone, all of us. We just can't go anywhere without getting stopped. It's fantastic. And the players obviously enjoy it as well. I was talking to Fly about it. He just can't even believe that there are fans, let alone that there are fans of him who come up and congratulate him. How do you feel about it all?
It's always very special because it's about meeting people that share your passion, and that's great. You know, it's not even about them being fans or you being someone they watch play. Sometimes it's just about sharing a passion, you know, and it's just great moments, honestly, and great people.
That's the best part about TI, is just seeing everyone so happy. And we're all here for one thing, is because of Dota, and is to watch great Dota. And you know, I might not know, like, you know, all these people that I've never met before, but it's really cool to have that one common bond, and it just makes me really warm and fuzzy inside to know that all of us came here together for this one great game.
It's also amazing to meet them in person, because, I mean, playing a lot of Dota, you know, social media, etc., you hear a lot from fans, and sometimes from people who are less fans as well, but, you know, when you meet someone in person, it just feels all that much greater, and you realize that there's a face to everyone.
Okay, talking about photo ops, I've just been told, actually, been handed a nice message which says there is a photo op stage next to us, actually, right in the concourse area. At the analysis desk. It's really cool because actually, if you take the photograph right, and I haven't done one yet, but if you take it right, it looks like you're inside the map. So make sure you head up here to take your photographs. And also, there's a photographer up there to take individual photographs and group photos. And Casey will be there at 11, it says, to take some footage and interview a few folks. Now, I reckon it's past 11. Tomorrow. I'm being told it's tomorrow. Good job I can read. So tomorrow at 11, make sure you're here upstairs in the concourse area and get your photographs taken inside the match. Fantastic. It's lovely. I love little things like that. It's those small touches as well that make it so special. I'm actually really enjoying myself here. I know I've not been involved in Dota 2 for very long, and I have limited exposure to it, but I've loved the game. I love watching the game. And I'm amazed by how many people I talk to that are not players, actually. They actually just watch the game. And I was sort of thinking, well, maybe I'm in the minority, but it does seem that people genuinely enjoy watching these players play. It's fantastic.
I mean, a lot of the people that are just watching the game, they don't really have time anymore to play it as much, but they still enjoy watching and they understand what's going on and they follow the team. So it's a really good thing to have here.
Yeah.
I can relate fully to it. I mean,
You
I
can?
watch Counter-Strike, I watch StarCraft, but
makes sense.
I don't play any of those games.
Sure.
I just watch them a lot.
Yeah.
So I can fully understand people who watch Dota.
Yeah. No, I'm bona fide, confessed esports junkie. So whatever's on right now, I will watch. And most of the time, that's it's Dota or it's League or it's Counter Strike. Or did I just say that? No.
No,
I didn't hear anything.
For me, every time I watch Dota, I want to play.
Well, that's like it is for Counter Strike for me or Quake. I'm like, because you see something and you think maybe you can do it better. That's the problem. Whereas I know I'm rubbish at Dota, so anything I watch is always going to be better than if I was playing.
Sometimes you get ideas.
Ben's not disagreeing with me here. I think there's something going on. Like, you've seen me play, haven't you?
I'm not.
Yeah, no, you have, because otherwise you'd be disagreeing with me, surely.
I mean, sometimes you get ideas as well. You watch like someone else play and you just want to immediately try it and improve on it.
Yeah.
So
And that's the same with any sport. That's why this is so cool. Because, as a kid, back in 1850, I would actually watch football on black and white television and watch players, running around doing things, really cool things. And I think, I can probably go out and do that. And it's no different. That's the modern version of it. It's Dota 2. It's whatever game you want to play.
And with football, you had to, go out. It's going to take you a full day. With Dota, you just, you walk 2 meters. You're probably even watching. You just tab, and then play a game of Dota and try to.
And the entire day is gone.
The entire day is gone, but whatever, it's worth it.
Yeah,
And then you just try to do what you just saw.
It's the old adage of, one more.
Yeah, it's
Just
the classic.
one more.
And you know that
Just
game.
one more.
you can't go to bed with a loss.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's another, definitely a rule.